Okay, this tutorial is for Quentin. I'm going to be showing how to animate floating letters so that it looks kind of like they're floating underwater down towards the sea floor. Okay, so I'm starting off with a blue solid, and I'm going to create some white text. Okay, I'm going to bring it down here because that's the ending position. I'm going to add a glow to this layer. Search for glow, or did that earlier, double click on it. You can already tell that the glow is making it look a little more watery, a little more ethereal. I'm going to change the glow radius to make it a little more glowy. Change the glow intensity a bit. And I'm going to change the glow colors as well. I'm going to make this a light blue, something like that. And I'm going to make this color maybe a greenish. And in order to make sure that those colors actually come through on the glow, you need to change the glow colors from original to A and B colors. You can kind of tell that it's a little green-blue now. That looks pretty good. I'm going to keep it there for now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer 5 times. I want each of the letters on their own layer. So Command D to duplicate. And I'm actually going to hide this layer because that's my original. And in case I screw anything up, I want to have that to come back to, in case I need to delete everything else and come back to this later. So I'm gonna hide it using the I, and then I'm also gonna shy the layer, which means that I'm not even going to see the layer in my composition window down here. To turn on shy for the layer, it's this little guy over here, and you can see that he's hiding. And I'm going to have to turn on shy in general at the top here, and this will hide all the layers for which the little guy is hiding. So there we go. He's gone. Alright, so now I'm going to turn off all of these top layers, and I've only got one, and I'm going to delete the extra letters. So I just want the W. There we go, W, and you can see that the layer name is changed to W. And turn that layer off so that I can isolate the A in the next layer. And now I have to turn the W back on because now they're overlapping. And now I'm just going to move the A. I use the Shift right arrow key to quickly do that. Now I'm going to do the T. I'll have to turn these off so I can see better. Okay, turn these back on so I can do the placement. Okay, oops, let's do the E. Turn those back on, here we go. And finally the R, oops, there you go. Okay. Water. Okay, now the trick is you want to try to get these letters placed as nicely as possible. You can see that there's kind of a gap between the A and the T, so just go select it and move it and fix it. The E is a little close to the T, which means that the R is a little close to the E. I can move it just a little more. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so that's going to be my arriving position. That's going to be where they will want to go to. So I'm going to bring my cursor to the 2-second mark. And then I'm going to turn on 3D for all of the layers. Now you just click on one layer and then shift click the other end of that column. Oh, and I don't see my switches, so to see the switches, it's F4. I'm going to turn on 3D. Now I'm going to press the P button to see position for all of those layers, and then Shift R to look at the rotation for all of those layers. Okay? Now notice that these layers are all still selected, so I'm going to turn on position and all three of these orientation keyframes for all of those layers. So we've got the final position keyframed. Now we'll go back and put in the starting position. Now it's pretty simple to do this. I'm just going to click on the R here and I'm going to drag it up out of frame. And you can see that this is the motion path for the R. And do the same thing for each of the other letters. Okay, so what does that look like right now? That's what it looks like, which is alright, but I think I want to add some rotation to it. So now what I'm going to do is, without even really knowing what this is going to look like, I'm just going to sort of push and pull some of these numbers under rotation. I know that 90 degrees is sort of like a quarter of a turn, so I don't want to go too much beyond that. I'm just going to click and drag to the left and to the right on all of these. Oh, here they are. Okay, did I do all of them? Let's see. Yes, okay, so let's scrub through the timeline and see what it looks like. Not bad. So, I could do a little more rotation, particularly on the Y rotation, but for a tutorial I think this is just fine. Now the next thing that I want to do is, I don't want them to approach the bottom all at the exact same time or at the exact same speed. Usually when things approach, they kind of slow down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ease all of these keyframes. I'm going to select them all using the mouse, and I'm just going to draw a box. I'm going to right click, keyframe assistant. I'm going to go easy ease in. So it's going to, so all these letters, as they're arriving down at the bottom of the seafloor, they're going to sort of slow down and settle in nicely. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of stagger the arrival of these letters. You can do this in one of two ways. You can either grab the whole layer and move everything together. Okay, so you can do that, or you can select the keyframes and move those. It's up to you. The cleaner way is probably to select the whole layer, seeing as they start off stage and you don't need anything, you don't need the layer to be on prior to this keyframe anyway. So I'm just gonna sort of stagger these a bit. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, not bad. I'm going to go ahead and do a little preview of that. Let's see, so again, the spacebar is one type of preview, but remember that will try to show you your completed animation, but but it probably won't be in real time depending on how much RAM you have. But if you use the 0 key on the keypad for a preview, After Effects will try to give you as much of your animation as possible, but in real time. It will also play music with the 0 key. So my choice is to use the 0 key if I've got any animation that is time specific. I'll just go ahead and use that key now. Okay, so that is how you do sort of floaty water text. You could slow that down if you want to. I think this is a little fast.